Hello, and welcome back to Sir Coach Shows Off Pathfinder 2e. Today, I want to show off one of my new homebrews for squad combat. So, many of the creatures in Golarion are dangerous on their own, but all of them become much more dangerous when they work together. So what is this? This is a way for you, as a GM, to take a bunch of fairly weak creatures, throw them together into a squad, and actually use them as a serious threat against your players. Because I'm pretty sure there's times when the party is going to be fighting a large horde of enemies. Well, if the party is level 5 and they're level -1 creatures, they're not going to be that much of a threat to the party. On the other hand, if they form up as a group and all attack together, you'd expect there to be some damage. So I put this together, showing it off, and if you're interested, feel free to use it. As usual, the link in the description will take you to this PDF. So there's this formations modifiers table, which we'll come back to. So when you're dealing with formation fighting, let's zoom in a little bit more. A little less. While fighting in a formation, the following restrictions and benefits are applied. So it's going to be called the squad. So all members of the squad must be the same creature. So you can't have 5 archers, 5 swordsmen, 5 spearmen forming a squad together. No. They need to be all be the same creature. All members of the squad will act as one creature. So it's going to have 1 initiative. It's going to have its 3 actions as basic, which you'll see down here. It specifies. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The HP for that squad is the total of all of the HP from every creature that is forming the squad. So if you have 4 creatures forming that squad, it'll have 4 times as much HP as each of those individually. Now, unfortunately, in a large group, they're going to take a little bit more damage from area of effect. So, splash damage, they take double splash damage. So if they're the primary target and the splash would still hit somebody else in the squad, they take that 2 hits of it. They're not going to take more than that, but there's a good reason for that. And I'll talk about it a little bit. Now, anything that is an AoE attack besides a splash, where it actually would do damage normally to each square, if they get a save against it, they actually get 1 step lower on their save. So say you hit the squad with a fireball, they roll a reflex, they succeed. Well, that's actually a failure. So they'll end up taking full damage. Alright. Now, anything that can target multiple targets can target the squad multiple times, as if they were individuals. That's still fine. Now, if they are armed with ranged weapons, they get the volley fire action. Melee weapons, they get the formation strike. Spells, they get overcharge spell. And if they have shields, they get the shield wall formation. Alright? So, formation strike. How this works. Your squad's in some sort of formation. You choose one side of that formation. And you make 1 melee strike, and you compare it to the result of the ACs for every enemy adjacent to the formation on that side. So if you have a formation of 3x4 troops, so you guys, we'll choose one of the 4 sides. If there's a player on every one of those 4 spots, you might be able to hit all 4 of them. Now, there's a special rule here. You get a +2 circumstance bonus to the attack roll if the unit has reach weapons. Because you have people reaching from further back ranks to give you a bonus to hit. And you get this bonus for every rank. So going back to that situation where it's 4x3, and you're attacking on that 4 side, well, there's 2 ranks beyond the first. So you'd get +4 circumstance bonus to the attack rolls. Shield wall. Well, the squad gains the benefit of the raised shield action, so seems fairly normal, and double the formation bonus for their AC. Well, now that I've talked about that, let's go ahead and go take a look at that table. So look at this table. I have listed on the left formation size. And formations can range from size 1 to size 5. Okay. They get an AC bonus. So their armor class is already increasing. And if you look down here, it's just a flat bonus. It is not increased, not a circumstance, not a status. It is just basic. Okay? And that's what most of these are. So the armor class is going to go up not as fast as you would expect, potentially, but they are going to be able to watch out for each other and help defend each other in the squad. The attack bonus increases by twice as much. So they're going to be a lot more threatening and be able to hit and crit more often. Because when you have 10 guys with swords trying to stab you, it's easier for them to hit you than if one guy is trying to do so. Save bonus. Similarly, they can look out for each other. Oh, I mind control one of them. Well, the other ones just push them in the head and knock them over, and you don't have control over the full squad. Then there's the formation bonus, which I'll come back to that one. Then there's bonus damage. This is going to be applied to any of their strikes that they do. So, formation size 2 will get a bonus damage die, and then formation size 4 will get 2 bonus damage dice. Okay. So, if you only deal one damage dice normally, you'll get a second one if your formation size is 2. Now, organization. This is the one where it determines your size based off how many people you have in the formation. So, for formation size 1, it can be a 1x3 or 2x2. So, it'll either be 3 or 4 squad members. Size 2 is 2x4 or 3x3. So, that's going to be 8 or 9. And then you can see how it increases. In general, these numbers are made just so this is a nice, easy formation that you're going to be in. The squad has to be in that organization the entire time. And then the modified level. So if you throw a bunch of the creatures together, they're a little bit more stronger than if they're individually. To the degree that if you look at it, they're actually going to be quite a bit stronger if you throw a lot of them together and have them all act together. So if you have a basic small formation size, this is about 1, their effective level would be 2 higher than normal. So let's go with Kobold Warriors. They are challenge creature level -1. So if I throw 3 or 4 of them together, well, now they're effective creature level of 1. So fighting 3 or 4 of them at once is going to be slightly tougher than trying to deal with them individually. And then if you get up to the formation size 5, that increases their effective creature level by 8. So it's one of those situations of, oh boy, if I'm dealing with 36 Kobold Warriors at once, that could be a threat to 7th, 8th level parties. Now, there's Volley Fire. And again, I'll come back to that formation bonus. So Volley Fire, 2 actions. Choose an area that matches a formation size that is equal to or smaller than the size of the squad's formation. So you want to look at these organizations. Let's say I have a formation size of 2. So I can either choose a 2x4 or 3x3, or a 1x3 or 2x2. And that is going to be my target area. And this is similar to the formation strike, where I make one ranged attack and compare the result to the AC of every creature in the chosen area. And then I roll the damage once and apply it to every creature that gets hit. Alright. Range penalty applies based off the furthest square from that area you chose. So if one of your 8 squares is in your second range increment, you're going to take that penalty. Now, if the area chosen is smaller than the formation's size, they get a circumstance bonus on its attack roll based off the difference. So if I'm formation size 2, well, I can choose a 2x4 or 3x3. Great. And attack everyone in there. Great. Doesn't make much of a difference. If I try to go for a smaller area, well, I'd actually get a +1 bonus to my attack roll and more likely to hit them. Because they'll essentially more of the ammunition going into that smaller area, so more likely to hit. So if you have a formation size 5, shooting at a 2x2, you're going to get +4 to your circumstance bonus to the attack roll. So it's going to actually be pretty good chance of hitting, potentially even critting. And then there's Overcharge Spell. This is essentially a meta magic action. You spend 1 action, and if their next action is to cast a spell, it gets the following 3 effects. If it has some sort of area of effect, you increase the length or radius of the spell by 5 feet per formation size. So if you have a formation size 5, shooting a fireball, which is usually a 20-foot radius, you can up it to a 45-foot radius. Because there's basically a huge squad of casters shooting off a spell at once, which can be quite devastating to a party if they're not paying attention. Then, if the spell has a duration, so it only applies to things that already have a duration, increase the length or increase the duration of the spell by a number of rounds equal to the formation size. So if you have formation size 1, it lasts for 1 round longer. Formation size 5, it lasts for 5 additional rounds. And then if the spell has damage dice, so again, a fireball or something like that, it gains an additional number of damage dice equal to the formation size. So, typical example of fireball, formation size 5 will get 5 additional damage dice. They're going to be at the same size and same damage as the base spell. So now let's look at that formation bonus. So the formation bonus is a status bonus that the squad receives. And it gets it to its AC, attack, and saving throws. So long as the squad is not faltering. So what is faltering? Well, if we scroll down a little bit more, we see that a squad is faltering if it falls below half of its starting HP. So I talked before how the squad HP is the total of all of the HP of each individual creature. Well, as they start taking damage, well, you don't want to deal with tracking each individual, oh, well, this person in the 3rd row, 2 spots in, is dead. That gets cumbersome. Instead, I've introduced the faltering system. So as soon as the squad is faltering, so it's below half, well, it loses that formation bonus. So it's going to be a lot weaker than it would be normally. And as I stated, the formation bonus is a status bonus. So it won't stack with anything else. But you'll see that a formation size 5 at full strength is going to get plus 15 to its attack rolls over the base creature. And it will essentially be classified as 8 levels higher than it would be normally. So Kobold Warriors, again, let's say that's an example, they have challenge rating -1. If you have 36 of them in a squad, they're now challenge rating 7. And instead of their base attack bonus that they had before, they'll have that plus an additional 15. So they're going to be very threatening. Once they're reduced down to half health or lower, they're going to lose 5 of their attack roll bonus. It's a very heavy penalty for being very weakened. And that is what I've come up with for squad combat. So hopefully you can take a look at this. If you have any suggestions for feedback, I'd welcome them in the comments. And this is Sir Coach signing off.